appears you're calling back
All
into the
right.
live show.
So,
We are
so,
reconnecting you now.
yeah. It's the daily go get Mism show. You think it ain't when it is? You think it won't when it is? We are here and we are in motion. We do this thing. Taking off fast lane, no coasting, and everything is gonna be all right. We do this thing on a throwback Thursday night. All right. So, what are we doing? What are we doing tonight on the Daily Go Getimism show? We are talking about when you haven't been with anyone in a long time. Well, nobody you liked anyway. You know, when it's been a long time since you've really been able to connect with somebody, since you've really been able to like somebody, since you've ever felt special, treated special by somebody, it can feel like you haven't been with anybody. And the thing is, you may have been in a relationship the whole time, baby, the whole time, and it feels like a crime. Is it a crime that I feel like it's time do we have to do something about the earth? So yeah, the problem can come when you're running around here telling your new boo, who might be your true boo, that you ain't had no boo, but you done had a boo. But they wasn't really a boo to you, but they was to somebody else, and they trying to get you to purge yourself. Well, you can say that whoever you're with right now should only be worried about them and nobody else and nothing else. And that may be true. And in a perfect world, it's absolutely true. But in your world, you might have to make sure that you don't have no damn cobwebs and make sure that everything is straight. And you want to make sure that it's all about the love and you want to get rid of all of the hate. Because somebody might still be on your top and you done drop them like a hot potato and they ain't trying to hear it, yo. And so you got to make your move and you got to be real and show and prove it's real. So that's what we're talking about today. When you haven't been with anybody in a long time, nobody you like, you have kind of been with somebody in not that much of a long time. So let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. Is this your daily? We do this every single day, every day it rains, every day it rains, and the G will do the same. Every day it rains, and the G will do the same. Every day it rains, and the G will do the same. Every day it rains, and the G will do the same. Every day it rains, and the G will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka O. Well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Get a Business show all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should also. So we get thing popping. What's going on? Right morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my people going directly into your site. And my brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing. Max and Joe. On this Throwback Thursday, let's get real about Relationships Thursday. We are talking about when you haven't been with anybody in a long time, nobody you liked anyway, nobody that you count anyway. I mean, some of y'all might have been through it. Have you ever gone through a stretch of bad dates, bad relationships, fake loves, false promises, and things like that, to the point where you are really trying to erase the memory of these toxic or bad or meaningless relationships out of your mind? It's like being a born again virgin. You know, when people say that they're a born again virgin, or no, I shouldn't. You know, I didn't mean to say born again virgin. You know what I meant to say? I meant to say born again Christian. When you're a born again Christian, you have you have declared yourself to have. Oh man, the audio is choppy. You know what? This happened. I listened to the show the other night, and the audio was choppy also. So I think it's just the internet connection because I've restarted everything. So hopefully it gets better. Sorry about that, Norris. I hope it gets better. But I think it is on my end, because when I listen to the playback, I found the audio to be choppy too. And I was surprised that I didn't see anybody complaining about that. So my bad, but we're going to try to get through it. We're going to try to get through it. But like I'm saying, have you ever gone through a long stretch to whereas you haven't been with anybody that you really like, been in any really meaningful relationships? You haven't been with anybody that you can relate to. You haven't been in any situations that have been inviting to you, that have been comforting for you, comfortable for you. You know, have you, it's like going through a long period of sex where you're not having an orgasm. You ain't get the bust. You just, it's like, you know, it's one of those situations where you might get your shit off, but it wasn't the good shit that you wanted to get off, and you just felt like putting your clothes back on and leaving. That type of thing. And you can go through a period of that to the point where you might just want to etch-a-sketch that whole thing, etch-a-sketch it from your memory. Forget about the whole thing. You don't want to think about it. You don't want to relive it. It might be a really emotionally taxing situation for you. So you have decided to put it out of your mind. And as long as you're by yourself, it's not a problem. The problem comes, or can come, when you get with somebody who you do like, who you do feel comfortable around, who you do want to have a future with, who you enjoy being with. And you're telling them that you are 100%, or let's see, super single. What do they call it? What do they call it nowadays? Single as fuck. Yeah, you might be telling them, I'm single as fuck. When you're not. You may be actively still seeing somebody, but you haven't fully cut ties with them yet. You mean to, and you're about to, but you haven't. You kind of shelved that project a little bit. Now, sometimes when you get with a new person, they want you to have a totally clean slate. Now, sometimes the expectations that people have of you in your past is unrealistic, and sometimes it's within reason. You know, there are people who start off relationships wanting total transparency. I want to know everybody you've been with, or I want to know who you've seriously been with, and what happened in those relationships, and you know, they basically want you to put all your cards on the table. Now, I think that's dumb, honestly, and I wouldn't submit to it personally. But I know people who feel that way, and they conduct themselves that way, and I know people who submit to it. So it is what it is. The world doesn't revolve around me the same way it doesn't revolve around any other person. But you may feel the need. You know how we always, our ego tells us that we don't have to submit to anybody. We don't have to bow down to anybody. We don't have to explain anything to anybody. Take me as I am, like Mary J. Blige said on the My Life album. But the thing is, you want the am that they're going to take you as to be a good am. I want to give you my good am. I want to give you my best am. I don't want you to have to question my am. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you all of my ams. I'm going to go through all of my ams from, I don't know, 1999 up until 2021. All of the ams. Like, I am this, I am that, I am with this one, I am with that one, I am not is that, I am not that anymore. I am a brand new boy. I'm on some real tour. and I got to let you know I'm a brand new 2022. Oh, and I'm going to let you see that I'm going to be the type of man that I want to be. So I'm going to let you know everybody that I've been with and how it went down and shit. And I hope that you can see it my way, because it's got to be that way. Hey. So you might be in a mental and emotional space to open up to somebody in that way and let them know your whole history or whatever. And you might get called shady if you don't want to do that. That's a controlling mechanism. When people say, you being shady because you don't tell them everything that they want to know. You moving funny. You acting shady. 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 You moving funny. You act shady. You moving funny. You acting shady. You moving funny. You are acting shady. You moving funny. What's acting shady? You moving funny. It happens. Sometimes just because two people are really feeling each other and they're really liking each other doesn't always mean they're going to be able to shake off all of that rust and dust of insecurity. And you know how insecurity works. Insecurity wants other people to work with them the same way they work. So if I'm insecure, I want you to be insecure too. So I'm insecure, so I need you to tell me everything that I need to know, even if it has nothing to do with me and it came years before me. So I don't care if I'm not involved. Now that you're involved with me, everything that you do should involve me, even everything that happened before. Now, if it's a situation where, like I was saying, you're not really finished doing what you was doing, just because you're not fully interested in somebody doesn't mean that you let them know that you're not fully interested in them or not interested in them anymore. So you haven't cleaned your slate, but you moved on to this new thing that you do want, and you're acting like that old stuff wasn't there. Because like the title of the show says, you haven't been with anyone in a long time. Nobody that you liked anyway. So you basically have said, hey, I ain't been with nobody. I ain't been with nobody. I've been abstinent. Even though you've had a whole lot of sex, but the sex wasn't good. And it's understood that you wouldn't do it again if you could. But the truth of the matter is you had sex 5 times last year. And none of those times were good to you. So you wiped them from your memory clear. And dear, it's okay as long as you are by yourself and you stay away from other people and don't say nothing. But if you with somebody else, you're kind of fronting because you said that you was a brand new virgin. You ain't got to do that shit. You grown. You ain't got to do that shit. You know what I mean? Shit. I mean, personally, I didn't like virgins when I was a virgin. You know what I mean? I don't know, like men who like virgins, something wrong with them. You know what I mean? All that, ow, ooh, wait. Yo, having sex with a virgin feels like rape. It does. Fuck that. No, it's not fun. It's not like it is in the movies. In the movies, when girls get broken in, it's sweet and it's romantic and it's gentle. In real life, they be hurt. They do. They be hurt and they be like, you know what I mean? You ready to get loose and they can't because they tight. And there's blood. It's not, I don't have to tell the ladies in here. Y'all know, y'all remember that shit. Ain't a woman in the world whose first time having sex was their best time. Some of y'all male virgins too, if you gay. Ugh. Keisha Bruton is in the house. What's going on, Keisha? And my girl Angel Eyes. Now I'm talking about a real surprise, Angel Eyes. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Georgia, step up into the ring. We was down since all the way back to 2009, the early Blog Talk days. What's up, Angel? Angel Ojos. Good to see you. That's what's up. Thanks for coming through. So yeah, when you haven't been with anyone in a long time, nobody that you liked anyway. So yeah, when you're in a brand new relationship, you know, just basically taking the bubble wrap off the relationship and all of that, and somebody is really expecting you to tell them everything that's been going on in your life, catch them up to speed of a life and a time that they weren't even a part of. Insecurity wants people to know that they I feel good. I feel better if I know that you already all mine. People don't always want to build themselves up to be exclusive. They want exclusivity out the gate. So here you are, and here this is. All right. So in your mind, you may have pushed all of the bad relationships, the bad sexual encounters, the bad dates. You might want to forget about all of that. You might need to mentally clear your space of all of that kind of stuff, because it brings back really negative memories for you and puts you in a bad space. Well, this is where communication is paramount. You know, we say that communication is key all the time, but I don't think that we really say or express what exactly we mean by communication being paramount. See, communication is when you send out information and you receive. It's sending and receiving. You can't just communicate by sending. I told you. You have to send that out, get it processed, and have it come back and process it and send it back out. It's a steady stream. It's a network. Going and coming. It's like broadband, baby. So there are times when we may really think that we have communicated something to somebody, and we haven't really done that. We haven't done it. In our minds, we have, but in all reality, we haven't, and we have work to do. But let's talk about what it means. Let's talk about what it really means. Let's talk about what it really means to push something out of your mind. Let's talk about where that comes from. Like, what are we talking about? When we choose to forget something that has happened to us, it can be a coping mechanism. It could be a way of dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, and many of us suffer from PTSD, undiagnosed, unrecognized, unacknowledged. You know, things that you have been through, traumatic experiences that you have been through, even though they may not have been all that bad. Like, you go out on a date and you don't have fun, you don't have good conversation, you don't have a good connection, you know, you just didn't have a good time. Well, for me and you, for somebody who's rational, it may be like, I ain't I ain't been out with nobody for that I really dug in a while. Like, it's bad out here, it's crazy. But like, I'm gonna keep pushing, because I know that there's somebody out there for me, because there was somebody out there for me before. You may be able to rationalize that. You may be able to unpack it that way and make it okay. But for the next person, that may be the most traumatic thing in the world, because some people, there are plenty of people out here, especially on the internet. Everybody is wondering and worried about what everybody else is doing and how they look towards everybody else who they don't even know. You know it. You see it on the internet every day. If you're on the internet like I am, you see it. You see it. People trying to look like somebody else because somebody else seems to be getting all the attention. People trying to act like somebody else because somebody else who's acting that way seems to be getting all the attention, all of the love. They are quote unquote winning, and you want to look like a winner. So, one of the most embarrassing things that you could have going on for yourself is the fact that you don't have nobody. You're not linked up with anybody. You know what I mean? You ain't got no boo. No boo for you. You're single when you don't want to be single. And the worst part about being single for you might be that you're single in front of everybody that's with somebody. Everybody seems to be with somebody. And the only people that ain't with somebody are the people who have the pick of the litter and they don't want to be with nobody. They got the pick of the litter. They don't want to be with nobody. So they out there like, what's Steve Harvey's daughter name? Laura, what is it? Laura Harvey? Yeah, y'all out there like Laura Harvey. Like, listen. What's his name? Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. I ain't, you know what I mean? You cool and all that, but I ain't trying to meet you at the altar with an all-white dress. I'm exploring other options. Like, you cool, but nah, I ain't trying to be locked down right now. I'm chilling. 25 years old. I ain't broke. I'm young. I'm out here in Hollywood. I'm living my best life. I can't be a good wife right now, so I ain't trying to act like I'm going to be one. So you might look at Laura Harvey like Laura Harvey is single because she wants to be single and because she has a bunch of options. You may not feel like that's your story. You might feel like, no, I'm single because don't nobody seem to really want me and it's bad out here. You only feel that way because you think other people are looking at you that way. So you need a new weave, you need a new wig, you need a new style, you need a new swag, you need a new something. Make sure that y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. If you would like to call into the show, I invite you to call in, and the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. Get your shine, baby. 319-527-6199, baby. Press number 1, and that will let me know that you would like to speak. And then I will call you out by the last 4 digits of your telephone number. You can rock on it, do the damn thing. I see that we do have a caller on the line. Caller. Caller with the last numbers. 4828. Welcome to the Daily Go Getimism Show. Thank you for holding. What is on your mind this evening? What's good?
Hello. How are you?
Terrific.
So I had a question actually about the premise. Just to see how it fits in with the premise of your show tonight. What happens when you are actually with somebody for a long time, but it's not a good relationship, and so you wind up feeling like after you and that person break up, let's say you guys were together, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, and now you're back in the dating world again. And even though you weren't single that entire time, it was the relationship wasn't in a good place. So it's like you're almost still going through the same motions as someone who was single the entire time was going through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as not being with someone in a long time or not being with someone decent in a long time. So maybe you don't know how to interact or how to accept something healthy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I wanted to know what you thought about that.
Here's what I think about that. Just like I was talking about, it's one thing to try to erase the memory from your mind of a bad situation, as long as you're the only one who has to deal with it. You know, like, it's funny you talk about a 10-year relationship. Let's say you were in a 10-year relationship that was never really a relationship. Let's say you were in a 10-year relationship and you were really a side chick, but in your mind, you were just as significant as the main chick. And that may have actually been in reality. But when it came to sharing the things that people who are 100% together share, you weren't able to participate in those activities. So you had a piece of a man or a piece of a woman without actually having them all to yourself. So for the outside world, they was your man or your woman. You know, pictures and videos and everything. But in reality, you know that you were number two. So the pain of being in that situation for that long, and then for it to not even materialize into you stepping up into the number one position. Let's say after a 10-year relationship of being on the side, then they broke up with their number one and still kept you number two. And you may have found out about it, and that may have been the thing that made you decide, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I waited for you all that time, and then you put me on the shelf and kept me on the shelf when you went and took somebody else off the shelf. Like, how the hell, how did I become a lifetime of number two? That can be very painful for a person. And it might be something that you want to try to forget about. So in your mind, you may act like you forgot about it, or that it never happened, or that was insignificant or whatever. But it's going to show with the person that you're with next, because you haven't been by yourself for 10 years. You just haven't been exclusive for 10 years. So while you're trying to put on this facade, and you're not necessarily lying to anybody except for yourself, but it's coming off like you're lying to everybody else. You know what I mean? Lying to yourself looks like you're trying to fool everybody else. It does.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it can be a really, really tough situation trying to explain how even though we were together, we weren't together. Because your ego can get caught up in it. It's like, you know, you don't want your new man looking at you like, so you spent 10 years as a side chick? Well, why should I make you number one if you satisfied yourself with being a number two? That's you saying that. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's you thinking for him. He didn't say that. You said it. But because you feel so ashamed about the outcome of the situation, you know, you are projecting that onto your new situation, and it's getting in the way. So it's tough. It is. It's tough. You know, I mean, it's just as bad as, you know, saying that you haven't had sex in 4 years when you actually have been sexually active. You just haven't had good sex with anybody that you really liked. So it's been like, you know, we went down Miami and I met this dude and I let him hit me off, but that wasn't about nothing. You know what I mean? It was sort of like a one night stand. You know, we used protection and all of that, and that was just. Then when I was home, I was messing around with a coworker but that wasn't nothing because he was married, and you know, like it wasn't. It was short lived. It was not even really worth mentioning. Like, y'all was fucking on a regular basis. You know what I mean? But to you, it's like, no, because if I'm not number one, then it doesn't matter what I do as number two. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Because the sad reality for main Johns, for the main chick, is that if you're being cheated on, if you're the number one but being cheated on, number ain't one. You sharing the number one spot. I know it hurts to think that way, but it's true. You either all the way number one, or there ain't no number one spot. It's like having the championship belt vacated. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not being treated like the number one, then you're not number one. You up there, but that number one status ain't worth. It ain't worth the paper that's written.
With just having a title, though.
Exactly. So what's the difference between the person that's happy with just having a title and the person that has erased all of the memories from any title or any status? What's the difference? Both of them are pretending like they are something that they're really not.
Mm-hmm.
The advantage that the number one may have is that they may not know they're being cheated on. So they really are number one by all accounts that they are aware of. You know what I mean? But like, you may know that there are plenty of number ones who know that, yeah, with this title, I better be satisfied with this title because I know my man is out there. I know he wildin'. And you know what? Quiet is kept. There are dudes out there who know that they know that they chick is reckless. And I know it for a fact because I've seen dudes who know they girls out there. And if you think it's hard dealing with a woman who knows that a man is out there, but that she's not ready to let him go yet, watch a nigga. You know what I mean? Because the worst thing that a man that can happen for a man is for his boys, his brothers, all of the other men in his life to know that his wife is reckless. He looking like more than a simp. He looking weak. He looking bad out there by all accounts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, he like a rubber ducky out there, motherfucker. What I mean by being a rubber ducky is a rubber ducky it'll float, it won't drown, but it can't swim. Ducks can swim, you know, they got the webbed feet, and you know what I'm saying? You know, it's a lot going on under that water. They be moving. A rubber ducky ain't got no paddle. It's just out there floating. Yeah, it won't drown. It will not submerge. However, it will only move with the wind or the tide. So it's a tough situation. It is. It's a tough situation when you haven't been with anyone in a long time. Nobody you liked anyone. Anyway, you may honestly feel that in your heart. Maybe it's been a year. It may not even be a year in some circumstances. For some people, it might only be for a few months. You know what I mean? When you have broken up with somebody that you didn't want to break up with, the time after that is like a time warp. Sometimes it seems like it's going extra fast, and sometimes it seems like it's going mad slow. Like, yo, my God, we've been broken up since forever. Man, that shit been a whole 3 weeks. But 3 weeks is a long time when you used to seeing somebody and hearing from somebody every day.
That's true.
You know? So it's the mind is a hell of a thing, boy. It really is. It's a hell of a thing. And when we lose control of it, and I'm not talking about being crazy, but I mean lose control of it as far as feeling like we actually do have control, like we are navigating ourselves in a way that allows us to stay positive and to be upwardly mobile and have the things and move towards the things that we really want and that we like and that are fulfilling for us. When we lose control of our ability to do that, it hurts. It's a transitional period, and it's a transitional period that we all go through. But it might really only become an issue when you're finally with somebody that you want to be with, and you're pretending like they just rescued you from, you just been out there in the water, ready to drown, when in all reality, you got a boat out there. You swam back home. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's Lori. Oh, my bad. That's Lori Harvey. It's not Laura, my bad. Lori Harvey. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I ain't mad at the young John. You know what I mean? Like, everybody didn't grow up, wanting to be wanting akin to their Barbie. So some little girls might have been like, yeah, I want akin to my Barbie, but I don't want akin to my Barbie till I'm like 33. Let me get my shit off first.
They just want the kid that's in the sports car. They don't want the kid that's in the Barbie dream house.
Exactly. Yeah, they want that sports car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That thing was very Trans Amish. Who wouldn't want that? Yeah.
So what I noticed is that either the person is acting like they've been out in the water, and the new relationship, whoever is in the new relationship with them, has just rescued them, or they act like, I already got a boat. I'll meet you at shore. I don't need you to come rescue me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. I think that depends on how you self-assess. How you respond is, it depends on how you self-assess, because really it should be, in my opinion, your response to the new relationship or the building of a new relationship should be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You should be cautious, but also like, yeah, let's go for a swim together. You know what I mean? Let's go sailing and go for a swim, or at least let's go sailing together.
Yeah.
But I know that it can be hard, because my situation was one where I was in a long-term relationship, and it wasn't a healthy relationship. So it was like I was literally in a relationship by myself.
Uh-huh.
So, but then when it was time when I ended the relationship, I was like, this is shitty. So I ended it, and when it was time for me to get back out there, I was the person that was like, I got my own boat. You're welcome to come aboard. But I had to be cautious.
90 seconds.
I had to be cautious for, I would say, probably 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Maybe even a year and a half afterwards. But I didn't get into anything real, like really real, until probably 6 years after.
Yeah. It could take a while to
yeah.
No, go ahead, finish what you were saying.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just saying I didn't get into anything really real. It took me about a good 6 years. There was probably one like a crash test dummy at year 3.
Okay.
Where I was just like kind of testing the waters, because I didn't necessarily want another relationship, to be quite honest. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you this.
And that goes back to the self-assessment thing.
Uh-huh. Did you have more trouble finding a good space to be in, or did you have more trouble finding a good space within yourself to be in? Sometimes we might find it hard to accept that we are in a situation, or that we're supposed to be in a situation. You know what I'm saying? If we've been through a traumatic experience, or if we just really aren't totally prepared. Okay. You know how people say all the time, get yourself together before you get into another relationship or whatever. But that means so many different things to different people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really work on somebody else's timeline. But sometimes when you are active in a situation, you may not have accepted yourself in that situation yet. Or you may not have accepted that situation to be what it is. So sometimes it's the difference between lying to somebody else, saying, "Oh yeah, we good, everything is all right," and you saying to yourself, like, "Nah, this is really just a rest stop. This is the Roy Rogers off the turnpike. I can't stay here. I be wondering how people even get here. How people work here? What, you know what I mean? Like, what's the address?"
No, I do. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm mad. I know exactly what you mean. But so to answer your question, it was both, because I was in that previous relationship for a long time, and so it was definitely me trying to find this space within myself, and just finding a good space in general. And I am one of those people who feels like you need to work on you before you delve into, a relationship, the next relationship. Like, I feel like you need to figure out what you learned from that previous relationship, not just from what they did, but what you have done. And because a lot of people won't admit that they had a hand in their own, their relationship. And so I know that there are things that I've done that they were not on the level of the stuff that he's done, but there were a lot of things that I could have done better, or responses that I could have better responses that I could have had.
Yeah.
And I took those with me to the next, the next two relationships, the mini relationship, and then one I feel, that's real.
Yeah. Clearing, I don't know. Like, I hear so many people give people advice about getting yourself together, finding yourself, whatever, clearing out. Don't take baggage to the next relationship. I don't know. I guess I look at it in two ways, because I don't think that it's possible to go into a relationship totally baggage free or emotionally free. I don't think it's possible, because you've lived that life. You were there. You've had those experiences. If you could etch and sketch the bad memories from your mind, then that means that you could easily etch and sketch the good ones from your mind too, because they're kind of intertwined. A lot of times they go together.
But I don't think that's what that saying means. When I hear that saying, I hear, don't blame, it happened to you, but don't internalize. So, like, whatever happens with the new person should not be paying for what the last person did. Don't take that to the next. To me, the bag should be lessons, right? So you take that, but no, why? Because then now all you're doing is taking the same relationship and just up in your face.
Yeah.
Whoever the new guy is, the last guy, he didn't do what my kids did.
Yeah. Maybe I've come across people who were literal in their approach to that. So I got some new shit. I say there's going to be baggage from one relationship to the next. You just have to have enough money for the baggage. Like when you get on a plane nowadays, and you know what I mean, they gotta weigh the bag. Like, listen, you ain't gonna be able to fit for suitcases. That's not a carry-on, sir. Those are not carry-ons. You can't have a full set of Samsonite. Talk about that's carry-on. No, you gotta pay for these bags because at some point, you're going to pay. The bag gotta get paid for. I mean, you know, the front, but somewhere down the line, the hauntings from bad relationships past is going to come through.
To that I say, you must be right. You fall until you might pay for your bag, but you know,
you know, my strategy for baggage is duffel bag. A duffel bag is I'm telling you, you know what I mean? People, the military personnel, they get it. Get yourself a really big, strong duffel bag. It will take you far, real far. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about hikers grade. Listen, we got to get out of here, but I appreciate you calling. I really do. And no doubt. Talk to you next time. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Thanks.
All righty. Well, that was nothing short of great in my mind. All right, so let's do it. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born with glorious. August 4th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and make it sorry, y'all, I got a cold. And make it feel special because they are special because they are special because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box. My girl coming from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Tanya Smith. Happy birthday to you. And Jay Desired. Happy birthday to you, Jay. And Diamond Jackson turning 40 years old today. And my girl, straight from the D, all up in the house, Miko Blondes Are Better, turning 50 years old today. And Learning What Works for Me, turning 41 years old today. And Sean Williams, turning 53 years old today. And last but not least, Alisa Jackson, turning 45 years old today. I need to acknowledge people who had birthdays yesterday, too, because my big favorite cuz, Lolita Dizard, her birthday was yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away, but I was too sick to do the show yesterday. It kicked my ass, but that was yesterday. And today is different. So also, Rebels Criticism. Okay, April, Bet Slayer, Diva Frazier, Lyric Johnson, Allison Young, Kibo, Vera Precious Israel, Muma B. Lambert, MD Rasel Ahmed, Jay West, Tammy, let's see, Lady Sarcasm Muhammad. That's do it. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday. It is glorious. August 4th and 3rd. Hope that day happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. All of y'all go ahead and turn up. Don't turn up loud, just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. I rock on the damn rock on the damn rock on the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Rep the queen, you do your thing, y'all. Present the kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Good things happen to those who cry. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, man, you are only single as fuck when you are single listen, it doesn't really matter. Everybody when you try to sweep your past under your rug or try to act like your past is more tragic than it really was. It look like to your new person that you're doing something, hide something, being something, something, and it might have insecurity, but you gotta deal with that because that's where you want to be. And yo, you get it right. It's gonna be y'all right. Spend many together getting to know what they can't happen. Some people want you to try to do this, right? People who need everything up front. Just remember this. You have to have everything up front. There's nothing more for you to get later on. When you have to have everything, when you insist on having everything up front, there's nothing left when you go on, and life goes on. Yes, it does. When it does, the thing it was. Peace to all my day and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all. Love y'all right back to life. Make sure y'all hit that like button on y'all way out. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoy broadcasting it. So I'll get back. Talk, holla back. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. And for YouTubers, you know just how those links were coming through on the other side, my boys. Oh, wait. Yeah.